All right. Good evening. Can you all hear me?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Okay. Turn on the videos. Come I keep the videos on. Manulia, you also. Manulia then දැක්කේ කාලෙක. නේද Melissa? We don't know whether Melissa Manulia is already there or not. Manulia, turn on the video and keep it. Keep a book and keep it. Okay, it is still Manulia. Right. So let's start the video. Shavindi, keep the video on. Okay. So before we go for our today's session, I'm gonna ask some questions. Chamar, what is internet?
A big collection of computer networks in all around the world.
Yes, it's the biggest collection of computer network, right? Melissa, what are the services provided to us by internet?
World Wide Web, email,
Email,
remote access,
remote access,
FTP,
FTP.
transport.
Yes, very good. Manulia, anything else other than that? Other than that, what do we have?
Search engines.
Search engines. Search, Melissa, did you mention search engine?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Search engine. Another one. There are more than this, right? There are more than 7. So you can mention more. Where is it? What is it, Manulia?
File sharing information.
Yes. File sharing, social media, social networking, file streaming, media streaming, those functions, instant message services, WhatsApp, Viber, right? Those services are available to us through the internet. Okay, right. Then, Shavindi, what is an URL? What does the URL stand for? URL. Shavindi. Shavindi, keep the video on. Shavindi, can you hear me? Shavindi?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's an URL? What's an URL? URL.
Don't know, sir.
Don't know. You weren't there for the last week? Not last week, yesterday?
No,
You
sir.
were there, right? No?
No.
Okay. So URL is basically, Melissa, tell me what's an URL?
Uniform Resource Locator,
Locator. Manulia, what do we use the URL for?
To uniquely identify various resources.
Yes, to locate the resources in the website. Yes, very good. Now, I haven't paused the screen. Right. Then, Chamar, what is an IP address?
Can you repeat the question, sir?
IP address.
An address which is used to identify computers connected to the internet.
Yes, very good. It is an ID or the number, identification number, which is given to the devices that access the internet. It is given to identify the devices that access the internet, right? Okay. So IP address is given to us by whom? Manulya, who gives us the IP addresses?
Internet service provider.
Yes, the ISP, internet service providers, provide this IP addresses. Melissa, give me 2 examples for ISPs in Sri Lanka.
Dialogue and Telecom.
Dialogue and telecom. Yes, very good. Okay. So today we have to discuss what is a domain. From the domain part, we have to start, right? So domain now, to identify a device in the internet, we give IP address. To locate an address in the internet, we use the URL. To identify a website in the internet uniquely, we use the domain name, right? The domain name is the name given to a website. Is the name given to a website to uniquely identify it in the internet, right? A domain, same domain cannot be given to 2 different websites. So if the Facebook is already been taken, then you can't create a website with the name of Facebook. You can create a website as a Facebook like that, but you cannot create the Facebook website. Why is that? Because that domain name, that website name is already taken. Again, let me explain to you what is a domain name. Domain name is the unique name given to a website in the internet, and the domain name shows to which category of website that particular website fall into. There are different categories of website. By looking at the domain name, we can figure out, okay, to which category this particular website falls in, right? So write down. Did we write the domain? No. Someone, did we write the domain?
No, sir.
No. Right. So let's write. The websites in the internet have unique domain names. The websites in the internet have unique domain names. The websites in the internet have unique domain names. Have unique domain names. Full stop. These are used to identify the websites. These are used to identify the website. These are used to identify the website. And the categories websites and the categories they belong to. Now, for example, eTaksalawa is a domain name. That is a website name, eTaksalawa, right? Nanasala, school.net, Google, right? Facebook, YouTube, Yahoo. Those are domain names today. Those are domain names, right? And the domain name have different, there are different levels of domain names also. There are different categories of domain names also. For example, a domain name is not just the name of the website. There are other parts which comes with the domain, right? For example, our Itaksala website's domain, it is with itaksalawa.gov.lk. What does that mean? It means, Sute, the Itaksalawa is the website's name and it falls to the government category, and the government falls to the Sri Lanka category because it's Sri Lanka's government, right? So you see now, with the domain, the entire part is the domain name, but from that entire part we can identify what is the actual website's name and to which categories they fall into. Mono categories වලට දේවා වැටෙන්නේ කියන එක, right? The best example is Itaksala. The actual URL of the Itaksala, the domain name of the Itaksala is itaksalawa.moe.gov.lk. What does that mean? .moe means Ministry of Education. So the Ministry of Education has multiple websites. Itaksalawa is just one of them, right? So that is what it indicates. .moe. And again .gov. Why is that? Meaning Ministry of Education is Ministry of Education category falls into the government sector. So Sri Lankan government has multiple sectors: Ministry of Education, Ministry of Defense, like that. Okay. So under the Ministry of Education, we have the Itaksalawa, and the Ministry of Education falls into the government category. And the government category is only one subsection of the Sri Lankan domain .lk. Under the .lk, there are multiple different categories: commercial categories, information categories, advertisement categories, government categories, like that. So, GOV means the government category, all the government websites. Okay. So GOV is the top level domain, meaning this is a higher domain category which Itaksalawa belongs to. Now the Itaksalawa belongs to the government, and the government falls into which country? .lk, Sri Lanka. .USA, you know the answer. .cn, China. .jp, Japan. AUS, Australia. CA, Canada. Like that, there are PH, Philippines. Like that, there are multiple country level domains also. For each country, there is a country level domain, right? And that country level domain indicates to which country that website belongs. Okay. All right. Here there are some multiple domain names, right? That we are most commonly using. Shavindi and Manulia, keep the videos on. All right. So .com, right? The higher level domains, they come with the .part, .com, .info, .net, .org. With a .com means commercial. You can do business with them. With .com websites, you can do business with them, right? .info, they are for the information. Information sharing. These websites are for the information sharing. That's why they mean .info. .org are for organization. What do you mean by organization? Organizations means they don't charge anything. These .org websites, they are for the NGOs, non-government organizations, which are the charities, that sort of website. Free. Everything is free there. They don't sell anything, right? They take donations, but no commercial activity. Donations and all there can be, but not commercial activities. .org. Biz, business. LK, Sri Lanka. EDU, education, right? Like that, there are multiple categories, multiple domain name categories, right? Okay. Now, again, small homework. What is it? You have to find out. You have to fill these cells with multiple domains and their name. I want you guys to find out what country level domains, not just 10. You have to fill all of these domains. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. Altogether, there are 12 cells. You have to find 12 countries, 12 country level domains. Okay, for example, CN China, AUS Australia. Got it? Manula clear? Shavindi, Chamara, Tisanka, Melissa? Right. So that is your homework. Huh? Okay. Now let's break down some URLs. Right? Let's try to read the URL. Therefore, URL queue. There is a way to read the URL. That is, now look at this part, the HTTP part. Right? The HTTP stands for, that is the protocol. That is the protocol that you will be using when you are trying to access this resource. May resource එකට access වෙද්දී යන්න පුතේ මෙන්න මේ protocol එක හරහා. What is the protocol? HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. But be may notice this, it says HTTP. Where is the S? S එක නැහැ. S එක නැහැ. Meaning it's not a secure website. දෙනවද පුතේ? HTTP S තියෙනවා නම් it is secure. Hypertext Transfer Protocol secure. Without S, it's not secured. S එක නැතත් අර කොළ පාටට ඉබ්බෙක් ඉන්නවනම් ඉබ්බෙක් කියන්නේ මැත්ත ඉබ්බෙක් නෙමෙයි. lock එකක් තියෙනවා නම් හරිද? Then we can consider it as a safe website. But if that is also not there, you have to be very careful when you are accessing these sort of websites. Okay, there can be viruses in those websites, right? So we have the protocol, and after the protocol with the colon and double slash, right, we have the service. Which service we will be taking? What service we are going? File sharing, email. No, we are trying to access a website. www, World Wide Web. We are trying to access a website, so it's www. And then after the service part, until you meet the first backslash, service into the service provider. මොකද්ද මොන service එකකට ගන්න කියන එක තියෙනවා, right? After that, until you meet the first backslash, මේකෙන් ඉතින් තියෙන first backslash එක මෙතන. Until then, the part that you have is called the domain. Microsoft.com is the domain. Microsoft is the name of the website. .com means commercial. It's a commercial website, so you can expect them to sell something, right? Why is that? Because it's a commercial website. Okay, all right. Then after the domain name, right? After the domain name, until the final backslash, the entire thing is the path. That is the location of the resource in that particular website. A website the resource you have to go to the products web page. From the product web page, you have to go to the Office 365 web page. In the Office 365 web page, you can find the 365.info, 365_info.html website web page. So, මොකද මේ හදන්න පුතේ? අපි මේ web page එකකට access වෙන්න හදන්නේ. අපේ resource, our resource is the web page, right? So, what is the address? Products, Office 365. What is the resource name? 365_info. Okay. .html means it's a website. It's a website. .html. .html, .php meaning they are websites. හරිද? මොකද මේ දෙකෙන්ම වෙබ්සයිට් හදන්න තමයි අපි හදන එක තමයි අපි කරන්නේ, right? And then right, so here we have example HTTPS. This is a secure website. S එක තියෙනවා. HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol secured : www stand for World Wide Web. So again, the service is accessing a website, right? What is the domain name? Download32.com. Download32.com, right? So it's a website. Name is Download32. What sort of website is it? It's a commercial website. Commercial website. And what is the address? As you can see, there is no address. There is no path. There is no path for the location of the resource, right? Meaning, මොකද්ද පුතේ ඒක තේරුම? ඔයාගේ resource එකට location එකක් නැහැ. website එකට ගිය ගමන් තින්නේ මෙන්න මේ resource එක. ඒකට location එකක් නැහැ. යන්න path එකක් නැහැ. Meaning, your resource windows-1-platform.html is the home page of this website. ඒක තමයි මේ website එකේ home page එක. ඔයා කෙලින්ම එන්නේ home page එකට. මේ home page එක කොහෙවත් යන්න ඕනේ නැහැ නේ පුතේ. Once you access the website, you are on the home page now, right? That's why you don't have to go anywhere. Manuel, understood? Manuel, නිදිද? නෑනේ?
නෑ sir.
Yes? You said yes? No, right?
No sir.
Okay. Right. Because I asked, are you feeling sleepy? And you said yes. Okay. Now, Internet protocol. Now, I'm going to do the first one. You have to do the third one. Okay. Internet protocol. What is the Internet protocol? HTTPS. Write it. HTTPS. Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secured. Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secured. Secured. Arakshitai. S is there. Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Secure part එකක් දාන්න. Secure. SECURED. Secured. Right. Then the domain name. What is the domain name? Download32.com. Download32.com. Write it. Download32.com. Download32.com. Then the resource location. What is the resource location? Nah, nothing. No location. You are on the home page. The name of the resource, Windows-1-platform.html. That is the name of the resource. Right. Now in this particular scenario, what is the protocol? FTP, File Transfer Protocol. The service, file transferring. From that is the domain, Microsoft.com. What is the path for the file? Office product activation file. What is the name of the resource? F234245.exe. Okay, write it. Right. Here are the answers. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, imagine you want to create a website. Now you want to create a website. So let's assume Melissa want to create a website for Melissa. So the website's name is Melissa Alhakon, right? So Melissa is creating website Melissa Alhakon. The website is entirely about Melissa's day-to-day life. So now Melissa, we have to assume that Melissa is now a celebrity. Yeah, Manila Tisankona Allah name by Alore. So she is a celebrity now. So she has a website of her own. Okay. So no, she doesn't have a website. So she is trying to create a website. So in order to create a website, first she need to use the HTML or PHP or some other website content management software, and then create the website. And then what? She has to connect that website to the internet. How to connect the website to the internet? She need to have a server first. Put the website on the server and then connect the server to the internet. Okay. Now this is not cheap. This process is not cheap. Let's assume that you create a software somehow. You need a server, right? You need a server which is 24/7 online. Meaning you have to keep the server on, right, all the time, and then also you have to connect it to the internet and keep also. So think about the cost for a server, the cost for the data of keeping your website online, right? It is too much, right? So the web hosting by yourself can be very expensive, but you don't have to go through that sort of expense to host your website. Host karna kya puti? Put your website online. That is called hosting. Or the host karna apni server ekak ona, server ki internet eකට connect karla, we have to put our website into the server. Then everyone can access our website through the internet. Okay? හරි. ඒතකොට දැන් මේ බඩු ටික ගන්න server එක හදන්න මේයි 150,000 at least. Server software again 170,000. Right? So altogether now there is actually around 320,000 something. Internet bill ඒක මාසෙන් මාසේ ආපෝ ඇඩ් වෙන ගන්න නේද? So to host a website it will take you around 300,000, more than 300,000. But today for 5,000 rupees you can host your website for the entire year. How? There are service providers who provide you web hosting services for a fee. Now their permanent job is hosting websites, right? Put servers and they are hosting websites. So what you do is you rent their services. Okay, I just need this much of space from your servers, and for that, for the annual, I will pay you this much. And then we take their services. We don't have to buy the server. We don't have to buy the server software. We don't have to keep the server online. They will do it. We just pay them for the annual. So annually given right? Not a big deal, right? So web host, and the other thing is that when you create a website, right, you need to have a unique name for the website, right? You need to have a domain name for the website. First, you need to register your domain. These web hosts, they provide you with domain name services. You can buy domain names from these people. the Bluehost, HostGator, GoDaddy, HostPapa, WordPress.com, right? Funny names, no? Bluehost, HostGator, GoDaddy, HostPapa, right? So these you can buy a domain name from these people. You can buy a domain name. So they not only provide you the selling of these domain names, they also provide you hosting services too. So you can host your website through these people, through these service providers for a very low cost, right? And everyone can access your website through the World Wide Web. Is that clear? Melissa, is that clear? Any doubts? Any unclear areas?
No, sir.
No. Manula, Shavindi, Isanga, Tamara? Fine.
No, sir.
No,
Okay.
sir.
Isanga's microphone working. After a long time, we are hearing you.
Yes, sir. Now it's working. Yesterday there was a problem with my mic.
You didn't connect it, no? From the left corner?
No, sir. Yesterday there was a problem from in the morning classes also. I couldn't open my mic.
Okay. Right. So for the web host, write down. The web host is a service provider. The web host is a service provider the web host is a service provider the web host is a service provider which provides you a domain name which provides you a domain name and make your website accessible via World Wide Web and make your website accessible via World Wide Web and make your website accessible via World Wide Web.
Sir, can you repeat again?
Yes, web host is a service provider which provides you a domain name. Web host is a service provider which provides you a domain name and make your website accessible via World Wide Web and make your website accessible via World Wide Web. So following are the different web host service providers that we have. WordPress.org. Now the WordPress.org is free. It doesn't charge you anything. But there is a catch. After the domain name, they will put WordPress.org. So if Melissa uses WordPress.org to host her website free of charge, the domain name will be like this: Melissa Alahakon WordPress.org. Got it, Melissa? They will put their name also next to your domain name. Publishing, right? Advertising. If you don't want that, you have to pay them, right? Now let's see how the internet works. හරිද? දැන් බලමුද කොහොමද ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එක වැඩ කරන්නේ කියලා. Right. First, let me explain to you how does it work. මේක වැඩ කරන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා. I will explain to you. Right. Okay. Now you have to assume that you don't know the name of the website. You don't know the name of the website. Okay, you don't know it. So what you do is, what do you do when you don't know the website's name? You go to the search engine and type the word, right? Type the name of the website, whatever the part that you remember, and the search engine will give you search results, different links to different websites. Most relevant ones they will give you. And the search engine එක පුතේ වා දීපු වචන වලට for the keyword that you have given, වැඩියෙන්ම appropriate මොනවාද websites ටිකේ link ටික ඔයාලට දෙනවා. මෙන්න ඕන එකක් click කරන්න. This is the most relevant one, second relevant one, third relevant one, like that. No? They will give you the search result. Okay. So once you click the link, you will be directed to that website. Right. If you know the link, you can type in the link in the URL bar or URL එකක් ගහන්න තියෙන උඩ search bar. You can type the URL on the search bar and then press enter. Once you give the URL, you know what happened? Your web browser will take that URL and it will give that URL to the DNS server, the domain name system server, right? DNS, the domain name server, he can read the domain name of a URL and identify the IP address of the server who is hosting that website. Then already ඉස්සෙල්ලා මතකද I told you if you want to host a website you need a server. මම කියන්නේ Melissa, if you want to host a website you need a server because you need to put your website, all those resources inside the server, connect the server to the internet. So when other people are accessing your website, they are actually accessing with what they are actually accessing, your server. එයාලා පුතේ ඇත්තටම access වෙන්නේ ඔයාගේ server එකට because all your website, those resources are in your server. They are accessing your server. Okay. So once you type in the URL, the DNS will identify the domain name of that URL. URL එකේ තියෙන domain name එක යාලා identify කරනවා. Once the domain name is identified, then what they do? DNS එක මොකද කරන්නේ? domain එක අඳුනගත්තා. මෙයානේ DNS knows every domain name there is. එයා දන්න හැම website එකක්ම දන්න පුතේ. අර අපි කියන්නේ කවුද අර මේ මිනිහ හැමෝම අඳුරනවා කියන්නේ ඒ වගේ තමයි. He is friend with everyone. Right? We have that guy who is friend with everyone. ඒ වගේ තමයි. DNS knows all those websites. When we give the domain name, once we give the URL, he reads the URL. Blah, blah, blah. Here's the domain name. Okay, I know this server. This domain name, this website is in this server. Okay, web browser, you know what? This is the IP address of that server. Send a request to this IP address, requesting that website, asking for that website. He will send you the website. Got it? So, අපේ web browser මොකද කරන්නේ? Our web browser give the URL to the DNS. DNS read the URL, identify the domain name of it. ඉතින් ඔන්න domain name එක අඳුනගත්තා. හරිද? foobar.com. And the foobar.com is in which server? It is in the server has the IP address 156 and blah blah blah. Okay. There are a website එක තියෙන පුතේ මොන server එකේද? එනේ මේ 156 blah 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 කියන server එකේ තමයි තියෙන්නේ. Right? And then our web server, our web browser sends a request to that IP address. A request කරනවා foobar.com index.html. ඒක තමයි home page එකේ නම. හරිද? Can you please send us that web page කියලා යනවා request එකක් for that IP address. And the web server, upon receiving that request, they will send those data. foobar.com index.html. Okay. foobar.com okay. index.html hari. මෙන්න යන්න. අරගෙන යන්න. They send those resources to our web browser. Web server එකෙන් අර request කරපු website එක පුතේ අපේ web browser එකට එවනවා. Right? They don't send the website. They don't send the web page. They send the data. Our web browser render the data. Render කරනවා කියන්නේ ඒවා සකසනවා. අර හම්බෙන data සකසනවා. Right? And then they create the website. In our web browser. අපේ web browser එක තමයි පුතේ website එක හදන්නේ. The web server sends the data. Right? Our web browser put those data onto the correct location and create the website. That process is called rendering. Okay. So is that clear? First of all, we type the URL. Our web browser send the URL to the DNS. server. DNS server identifies the domain name and then finds out in which server that website is on. A website server and then give the server IP to the web browser. The server IP web browser. Our web browser send a HTTP request. HTTP request tag can you send this website request tag to that particular web IP address. IP address and from the web server who is on that IP address will send the data of that website to our web browser. If a web browser, our web browser will render the data and show it to us, right? Have you ever come across the situation where the internet connection is very slow? Some images of the websites aren't loading. Web page load කරනවා හැබැයි කැලි නැහැ. කතිර වැටලා තියෙන images වලට එහෙම වෙලා තියෙනවද? එක එක තැන් වලට විශ්ි වෙලා තියෙනවා. Manuel, has it happened to you? Right? Normally it happens to everyone, right? එහෙම තමයි internet. Once the internet is low, some data get missed. Some data get missed on the way to the web browser. Web browser එකට අර data server එකෙන් එවද්ද දුපුත් ඒවා නැති වෙනවා. හරිද? Then what happens, Shavindi? Our web browser cannot render it properly. කැලි නෑ ඉතින්. No images. අර image එක මේ part එක නෑ, ඒක නෑ, අරක නෑ, content මේ ගිහිල්ලා, අරේ ගිහිල්ලා. හරිද? හතර වටේ ගිහිල්ලා. නිකන් අහක බලාගෙන අඹපු පිළිමයක් වගේ. හතර වටේම data and images, content. Okay? So this is how the internet works. You type in the URL, your web browser send the URL to the DNS server. DNS server read the domain name in that server URL and give you the IP address. You send the HTTP request to that IP address, right? And the server who is on that IP address will send you the website. Your web browser will render that website and show it to you. In a website. Is that clear? I hope that is clear. Chamara, Terunada?
Yes, sir.
Shavindi?
Yes, sir.
Melissa? Manuela? Sanga?
Yes, sir.
Guys, Tisanga? Sanga Visuela. Right. Okay, so write down here. So Balan, as we learned earlier, every computer and servers in the internet are given a separate IP address. This is how a computer can distinguish and find another device in the internet. So the websites are also in the devices, no? Because server is a device. So if you want the website, we have to send the request to that server. If you have this website, can you send it to us? Okay. So write down. When you type in the URL, when you type in the URL, to find a resource located in the internet, to find a resource located in the internet, when you type in the URL, to find a resource located in the internet, to find a resource located in the internet, to find a resource located in the internet, that URL is read by the domain name system. That URL is read by the domain name system. That URL is read by the domain name system. Inside brackets put DNS. How the DNS? DNS, and identifies the IP address in it, and identifies the IP address in it. And identifies the IP address in it. Full stop. Then the DNS connects you to that website. Then the DNS connects you to that website. Then the DNS connects you to that website. Right? When the browser get the IP address of the website from the DNS server, it sends a HTTP get command. HTTP get command along with that IP address. Our IP address HTTP get command. Hypertext transfer protocol get command. Get can request karna, right? Our website request karna is IP address adala server ke. So the server which the IP address belong to send the HTML data of that website. Or the website HTML data right? And our web browser render those data to visual content and show it to us, right? As a website. That is how the websites are displayed to the internet. Right. Let's talk about the internet protocol. Internet, in the internet there are different connectivity technologies going on. There are different communication methods, right? There are different devices come together in the data transmission. So we need protocols, right, to control them. So the protocol means laws that governs the data transmission over the internet. Protocol is what? Internet protocol like Internet protocol is the laws and the structures that governs the data transmission over internet. Internet data transmission govern karanne these laws, and these laws are called what? Internet protocols, right? Write down, internet has laws and structures. Internet has laws and structures. Internet has laws and structures Internet has laws and structures that governs the data transmission over internet. That governs the data transmission over internet. Right? That governs the data transmission over internet. Full stop. They are known as the internet protocols. They are known as the internet protocols. They are known as the internet protocols. Now, in the internet, there are multiple protocols. Internet, there are multiple protocols, right? One is, the first one we're going to discuss is the HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. HTTP governs the transmission of the HTML data, website data. Websites, web pages, HTTP protocol, right? So if you are loading a website or if you are accessing a website, right? So that falls under the HTTP protocol. HTTP protocol, okay? To exchange HTML data, write down to exchange HTML data. Here, to exchange HTML data. To exchange HTML data. ශාවින්දි යසුරු ඉන්නවද ඔතන? මල්ලිට කියන්න ගිහිල්ලා පොතක් බලන්න කියලා. අක්කා ක්ලාස් එක කියලා. Right. Then we have the TCP/IP, Transmission Control Protocol, and the Internet Protocol. So the TCP/IP is the protocol that governs the exchange of the IP addresses. Right? When a device is accessing the internet, that device is given an IP address. Who gives the IP address? Who governs the law for that IP address issuing? Amount of mega then there are a set of laws. Which protocol governs that? TCP/IP, Transmission Control Protocol, and Internet Protocol. Right? Write down. This controls the exchange of IP addresses. 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 Then FTP, File Transfer Protocol. File Transfer Protocol is what governs the exchange of files. Internet එක කරා අපි files download කරනවා, upload කරනවා. We are downloading files, we are uploading files. So that is governed by the FTP protocol. If you are downloading a file, that falls under the FTP protocol laws. Right? Write down to exchange files. To exchange files. To exchange files. Then the SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. SMTP means SMTP governs the exchange of email. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Your Gmail, Yahoo Mail, Hotmail, right? Outlook, their email transmission is governed by this SMTP. So write down to exchange email. To exchange email. To exchange email. ICMP, Internet, the Internet Control Message Protocol. When you come across an error when you are trying to surf the internet, 404 errors, 444 errors, can't connect, connection timeout, server timeout, request rejected. When you are using internet, sometimes the internet doesn't work. No, so those who provide you with those error messages, your internet is not working because of this reason. The error message how they want ICMP pute. So write down information and controlling messages when there are errors. Information and controlling messages when there are errors. Right. Now we are coming to the client-server network. The client-server network means that in internet today, every device is either a client or a server. Either a client or server. Meaning there are devices which request for services and there are devices which provide the services. There are devices which request the services and there are devices which provide the services. Okay. Now, for example, Shavin Diano Hade, right? Gila Ganna Monada chocolate. Shavin is buying a chocolate, right? Shavindi. Now, how do you buy the chocolate? You go to the shop and then you request for a Shavindi, Monada request karan?
Chocolate.
A chocolate, right? And the shop owner will give you a chocolate, right? There is only yes. That was just talking. So anyhow, in the normal life also, we request and others provide. Now Mali might come to you and ask, okay, sis, I don't understand this. Can you explain this to me? So he is requesting for a service and you are providing service. What is this? You are the client, I am the server. I am providing you with this information, right? You are requesting for the information. I am providing you with the information, right? Now, for example, another example, you are downloading a file from the YouTube. Okay, so Melissa is downloading a file from the YouTube. Who is the client? Who is the server? Samar, who is the client? Who is the server?
Server internet.
Server is the internet and the client is Melissa, right? Okay, very good. So in the internet, we have two parties, the clients and the server. Clients request, servers issue, right? They provide. Now the client can also upload information to the servers, right? Aren't we using our cloud drives? So we are uploading the information now. But still today, that is a service that the servers provide to us. අපේ data තියාගන්න එයා server space එක දෙනවා. So that is a service that the server provides to us. Okay, right? So write down. Internet is a wide area network. Internet is a wide area network. Internet is a wide area network, okay, which is based on the client server model, which is based on the client server model. Which is based on the client server model. So every computer in the internet, is either a client or a server. Is either a client or a server. So every computer in the internet is either a client or a server, right? Okay. Today, when a client requests for services, what does it mean? Client done. We call it downloading. When the client provides to the server, we call it. What do we call it? What do we? Uploading. Yes, very good. When the client receives information from the server, it is known as downloading. When the client provides the information to the server, we call it uploading. How is the single link here? බාගත කිරීම, downloading, උඩුගත කිරීම, අනේ සරුම් කරලා යනවා. උඩුගත කර. uploading. Okay? Right. Now there are let's talk about the servers. Let's talk about the servers now. In the internet, we have different types of servers. We have the domain name server, we have the web server, we have the mail server, right? Gmail server. There is a mail server. Whatever the servers that host websites are called web servers. The DNS server, it reads the domain name and provide us with IP addresses. So that is also a server, right? Let's talk about what are these servers and what do they do. Okay, so first one, web server. Web server එක මොකද්ද පුතේ මුලින් කරන්නේ? Web servers, they store the web pages and then provide them to the clients who request them, right? Web servers, they store the websites on the server, and when the client requests for the website, they provide the website to the client. That is what they do, right? Write down, stores web pages, stores web pages and provide them to clients when requested. Okay, store web pages and provide them to clients when requested. Now, the Facebook, YouTube, they don't rent the web hosting services. Web hosting services ගන්න නැහැ වෙන කාගෙන්වත්. You know why? They have their own servers. Facebook has their own servers. YouTube, the Google, YouTube belongs to the Google, so Google has their own servers, right? Some big websites, they don't host by using other people's infrastructure. They have their own servers, right? Apple and all, they have their own servers. Yala වෙනාගෙන් ගන්නෑ. Okay, right? So mail server, what does a mail server do? The name itself, as the name itself implies, the mail server, they store emails and provide them to the client. They store emails and provide them to the client. Okay, one of the examples: Gmail server, Yahoo server, Hotmail server, Outlook server, right? They are the mail servers. Write down, storing emails and providing them to clients. Mail server, storing emails and providing them to clients. Storing emails and providing them to clients. DNS server. Shavindi, what does the DNS server do? We discussed this earlier. DNS server.
It gives the IP addresses.
Okay.
It gives the IP addresses to the
Issues. They can put them මෙහෙම. You read the domain name and convert them into IP addresses. Read the domain name and convert them into IP addresses. That is what they do. Okay. එතකොට එයා මොකද කරන්නේ? එයා domain එක කියලා they convert them into IP addresses, right? So write down, translate URL addresses to IP addresses. URL keyword, he reads only the domain name part of that URL. Okay, even though we give the entire URL, it only reads the domain name part. Okay, so write down, translates URL addresses to IP address. Translate URL addresses to IP address. Okay, so the web server store web pages and provide them to the client. Mail servers store emails and provide them to the client, right? DNS servers, they translate the URL addresses to IP addresses. Okay, all right. Earlier, right? Earlier we discussed about the different type of services provided to us by the internet. Different type of services provided to us by the internet. Okay. All right. Now we're going to discuss about those services one by one. Okay. Now fill these 7 services. Fill it. Fill it. Does everyone have my cute a printout? Chamber?
Yes, sir.
Savindi?
No, sir.
Why not? You have to take a printout. Manulya?
Yeah, sir.
Melissa? Zanga?
No, sir.
ගන්න ඕන ළමයි, you have to get a printout of my tube. අර මේ ලියාගෙන හරියන්නේ නැහැ. Okay, so let me read those services. First one, World Wide Web, www dash www, World Wide Web. Second one, electronic mail dash email. Third one, File Transfer Protocol, FTP. Fourth one, Remote Access. Remote access. Fifth one, file sharing. Six, streaming of media. Seven, search engine. Search engines ලියුව නේද? Seven, search engine. Right. So let's talk about the World Wide Web first service. So the World Wide Web is the largest computer network which is created in the internet. It is the largest computer network in the internet, right? So these networks, they have computers, and these computers, they have electronic files, right? So if a device is connected to a network and that network is connected to the internet, basically that means that device is a part of the internet. So the files, electronic files in that device are also available through the internet. If you decide to share them, nothing then connect වෙච්ච පළියට ඒවා අනිත් කට්ටිය ගන්න බෑ, right? So which means World Wide Web has billions of electronic files in it. තේරුණාද? Okay. If a device is connected to the network, a network is connected to the internet, right? And a device which is connected to the internet is a part of the internet. And all the files of that device are also parts of the internet. So basically, internet is the biggest collection of electronic files, right? It is the biggest collection of electronic files. Now, give me a second. Right. So World Wide Web is the largest collection of computer networks or the largest collection of electronic documents, right? Tirupati, to surf the website, to search the internet, to search the World Wide Web, we need what? What do we need? We need a web browser. We need a web browser like Google Chrome, the Internet Explorer, Safari, Opera, Mozilla Firefox, Maxton, right? Now, Internet Explorer is no longer available. We won't be getting any updates for the Internet Explorer anymore, right? It is a dead browser. So the browser can be dead. Heart attack. No good. We stop providing services to that browser. So Internet Explorer is Microsoft. Microsoft has stopped providing services to the Internet Explorer. There won't be any more updates. There won't be any more supports or versions of Internet Explorer from this year, 2020. But instead of that, they have introduced another one. What is it called? Other than
Bing.
Bing. What is it?
Bing.
Think?
Bing.
Bing. No, not Bing. Bing was there a long time back with the Internet Explorer. Bing is not a web browser. It's a search engine. What have they introduced instead of Internet Explorer? Microsoft Edge. Microsoft Edge එක පුතේ Internet Explorer වෙනුවට දැන් එයාලා හඳුන්වලා දීලා තියෙන්නේ Edge එක, right? It is more secure, it is more faster. It is kind of similar to the Safari, Mozilla Firefox. Not up to the level of Google Chrome, but good, right? Right. So in the web browser, when we go to the web browser, when we connect to the internet by using the web browser, we can search for different websites. We can search for different websites. But if you don't remember the exact URL of the website, then there is a search bar in the web browser. You can always go for open a search engine, and then you can search for the resources. Resource go for a search engine and type in the name of the resource. Right, the search engine will give you the multiple locations of different URLs where you can find that file. Got it? Right. Guys, videos, keep the videos on. Now, this is what This is Mozilla Firefox, right? The Mozilla Firefox, they have opened Sri Lankan Department of Examination website. Okay, so in the website here in this web browser, as you can see, this is the search bar, URL bar. You can put the URL of your web browser, right? And then you can go directly to the web browser. But if you don't remember the URL, you can type the name of the website here. In the search result, from that you can go to the your website. Okay. Then file transfer protocol, FTP. What is this FTP? File transfer protocol. Who knows about the file transfer protocol? We discussed this. Melissa, what is the file transfer protocol?
Can share files through them.
Can share files. This is a protocol. This is a protocol. FTP is the protocol that governs the sharing of files. Right? It doesn't do the file sharing, it governs the file sharing process. Right? It provides the laws and the structure for the file sharing. Right? So for the file transfer protocol, put it right down. This protocol is responsible. This protocol is responsible. This protocol is responsible for file transfer over the internet. For file transfer over the internet. Right? This protocol is responsible for file transfer over the internet. Right. So I hope that is clear. Okay. In the FTP protocol, it always goes with the TCP/IP protocol. You know why? Because when you want to download a file or upload a file, you are connecting with a server. You are downloading the file from a server. You are uploading file to a server. So you need to establish a connection with the server. How to establish a connection with the server? IP address. You need to have the IP address of the server to establish a connection. So in the file transfer protocol, it always works with the TCP/IP protocol, right? By using the TCP/IP protocol, it can establish a link with the server. Our IP address use karla server ka identify karagan. Then establish a link, and after that they transfer the files from one IP address to another IP address. They transfer the file. The FTP protocol is always goes with the TCP/IP protocol. Is that clear? Right. Manuela angilla kanne. Right. Remote access. FTP. You request the file from the server, but how to find the server? By using the IP address. Once the server receives the request, the server send the data to this client. How the server identify the client? By using the IP address. So FTP always works with the TCP/IP protocol. Okay. Right, now we are coming to the remote access. The remote access means when we connect to a computer to the internet and controls it, we call it remote access. Remote access means we are accessing a computer over the internet. Now in the Zoom also you can do this, right? In the Zoom pute, now I can request to control Manuela's computer. If Manuela give permission, I can control her computer, right? If it's a phone or what, I can control it. So this, it is called remote access. I am remotely accessing. Am I there with the Manulya's place? No, I'm in here, but I am remotely accessing. Remote remote control. You are here, but you are changing the channel by staying from here. Either remotely you control it. Like that, with the remote access means you access that particular device through the internet by staying at another location. Okay, and then controlling the device. Working from home is like this. Now you can have your office computer there in the office, right? So you cannot go to the office today. What you do? You turn on your laptop, ask someone to turn on that computer also, and then you connect to that computer using the internet, and then do the work. Office and known net. You can access the computer and controls it. So out of pay, file, cursor, you can see everything, right? So example for this remote access softwares are the TeamViewer, AnyDesk, Zoom also is an example, right? So write down to say accessing and operating a computer, accessing and operating a computer, accessing and operating a computer in the internet remotely, accessing and operating a computer in the internet remotely is enabled via remote access, is enabled via remote access. Is enabled via remote access. Is enabled via remote access, right? So through the remote access, what can we do? We can open the files on that computer. We can install software. We can fix problems of the client. Now, in certain software agencies, if the client's software, whatever the software that they create and give to the client, if it has any problem, those software agencies now they don't send any technical guy to that organization. What they do? They come online, access that computer through the remote access, and then do the work. You can see the cursor is moving and all, right? They work on your computer by staying at their office. This is called remote access. Got it? Is it clear? Chamara? Manuela? Disanga?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Metan දාගන්න පුතේ another two more examples. Any desk. Come on, Zoom. Any desk එකයි Zoom එකයි. Any desk, Zoom. Right. Now we are coming for the file sharing. Earlier we discussed about the file transfer protocol. Now we are discussing about the file sharing. Okay, what is this file sharing? File sharing is sharing files of one device with another device. That is called just simply file sharing. The main purpose of building a network is to share the files. The main purpose of building a network is also to share the files and resources. Okay. So internet, it allows us to freely share our files. Okay, files පුතේ and devices එක share කරගන්න internet with services දෙනවා, right? So file sharing is also one. Now file sharing also becomes a service of the internet. File sharing is also becomes a service of the internet, right? එතකොට in the file sharing පුතේ, what are the features that are available? Concurrent access, meaning For the same file, multiple people can access the same time. Once you share the file in the network, in your network, multiple people can access that file at the same time. Only one person can access. Whoever the person who is dealing with that computer can access the file. But once you share it in the network, everyone can access the file at the same time, right? So that is also what is meant by the multiple user access. Okay. Then streaming of media streaming. Who else is watching YouTube here? Or the YouTube balan? Have you ever watched a video in the YouTube? Shavindi? Yes. Manula? Yes. Right. Netflix? Yes. Right. F movies? Yes. So there are different types of media streaming platforms. Different type of media streaming platforms. Okay. So from these media streaming platforms, we can select different media content and view them. Okay. Now, let me explain to you how this media streaming actually works. Let's take the YouTube as an example. Now, YouTube is what? It's a website, right? Chamara, YouTube is a website, right? Okay. So, as a website, YouTube is on a web server. YouTube is on a web server. But now, where are all these videos in the YouTube? YouTube video game. They can all the videos are on the website, YouTube website. Melissa, are you videos ko are they on the YouTube website?
No.
Then where? Then one. That's not cool.
Server?
Which server? They are in the media server, right? YouTube is just a website. YouTube is just a website. It's a structure actually. It's a dynamic website. Dynamic website can be content එක මිස්සේ වෙනස් වෙනවා. ඒකනොද users interaction. අපි click කරන්නේ මොකද්ද? search කරන්නේ මොකද්ද? ඒ මත content එක වෙනස් වෙනවා නම් we call it a dynamic website. YouTube is a dynamic website. Facebook is a dynamic website. Okay? Netflix is a dynamic website. So in the YouTube, it's just a website. Okay? The content always changes. In the YouTube, you see the videos, right? You see the images of the videos. Actually, in the YouTube website, it's just the icon. Once you click on icon, that it will open a frame. It will open a window. And to that window, they load that particular video which is linked with that image. The icon that you click. Click icon video media server frame that is what they do. All those files, they are not in the YouTube server. They are in a separate media server. And in the YouTube website, you only have the icons, and those icons are linked to those media content. Once you click on icon, a frame will open, and the media content from that media server will be loaded to that frame. That is what it happened. Even at if all the videos are on the YouTube website, we will never be able to open YouTube channel, right? If there are videos load YouTube channel load right? YouTube load because there is only icons in the YouTube website. All those icons are linked to the videos. Once you click on an icon, that particular video will be open. Okay. So the client, a user visits a web page hosted on a web server and find the file he likes to see over here. He goes to the YouTube and find a file. The web server, right? The web server sends a message to the streaming media server requesting to that file server. Then that web server will request for that file from the media server. The media server will load that file into the website, into that website, and then we will be able to view that file. That is how the media streaming occurs. Media streaming, right? So, Melissa, is that clear? Chamara?
Yes.
Chamara මොනවද පහල කරන්නේ?
That's a table.
What is it?
Table.
Okay. Right. So, all those media websites, they are dynamic websites. Dynamic means the content changes according to the user's interaction. If the content doesn't change according to the user's interaction, we call it a static website. They fixed. අද ගිහලා බැලුවත් තියෙන එකමද එහෙට ගිහලා බැලුවත් තියෙන එකමද තව අවුරුද්දකින් බැලුවත් තියෙන එකමද ඒ අප්ඩේට් කරලා නැත්තම් content doesn't change, but dynamic websites, their content changes, right? Okay, now we are coming for the search engines. Search engine. What is a search engine? Who can give me the answer? Search engine. කවුද දන්නේ? පුළුවන් නම් කියන්න මිලියනයක් දිනන්න. ශාවින්දි, ඉසංග. call a friend අවස්ථාවට යනවද 50-50 අවස්ථාවට යනවද? call a friend આવුවොත් යාළුවත් නිරුත්තරයි නේද? තිසංග. call a friend දීලා මනුලයට කතා කරොත් ඉවරයි. 50-50 ඒකත් බෑ. හරිද? ask the audience එකම silent. මම කියන්නම් උත්තරේ. search engine is used to identify or locate resources and websites in the internet today. We use the search engine to find the websites that best matches the keywords that we type in. අපි type කරන keywords තියෙනවනේ පුතේ. ඒ type කරන keywords වලට හොඳටම match වෙන websites ටික හොයන්න තමයි අපි search engine choose කරන්නේ. If you don't remember the exact URL of website, you can type in the keywords. Keywords can search terms. ඒව හරහා තමයි search engine එක search කරන්නේ මේව. හරිද? So once we type in the keywords, our search engine will search the internet for those keywords. ඒ keywords වැඩියෙන්ම තියෙන්නේ මොන website එකේද? That website will be displayed the first. ඊළඟට වැඩියෙන් තියෙන මොන website එකේද? That website will be displayed the second. Like that එක list කරනවා. This website has all those keywords more than any other website. ඊළඟට like that. Understood? තේරුණා නේද? නේ? Shavindi didn't understood?
තේරුණා sir.
Okay. Okay, right. Search engines search for web pages. Search engine search for web pages that best matches search engines search for websites, web pages that best matches the keywords you have typed in the search box. That best matches the keywords you have typed in the search box. Yeah, type in the search box and list all the matching web hyperlinks and list all the matching web hyperlinks as search results. As search results. As search results. Okay. So the search engines, they help you to find information in the websites. If you don't remember the URL, go to the search engine, type in whatever that you remember, and your search engine will find you the most appropriate content on the internet. What is the best search engine so far? හොඳම සෙවුම් යන්ත්‍රය මොකද්ද පුතේ? අම්මද? නැති වෙච්ච ගමන් අම්මේ කියලා කතා කරන්නේ. Is that the best search engine? I'm not talking about the internet. Yes, Tisanga, very good. Google. Google search engine is the best search engine. ඒක තියෙන algorithm එක පුතේ, it is very advanced algorithm. It can find the most relevant content. නිකන් keywords විතරක් නෙමෙයි, it finds the most relevant content. අපිට ඕන දේ හරියටම අදාළ දේ පෙන්වනවා. Right? So what are the other examples? The Google, the Yahoo, Bing, Ask, those are also example for the search engine, right? Okay. So now I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes to go through what we have done so far. And we have done 11 pages, no? Alright, good. 10 minutes at you now. Go through all the pages. I'll be asking questions. 10 minutes dinner. I'm going to get some water and come. You have exactly 10 minutes. Right. Okay, time's up. Turn on the videos. All right. I'm gonna ask questions now. Chamara Hemal, tell me, what is a domain name?
It is used to identify a website and the categories they belong to.
Yes, it is used to identify the websites and categories they belong. Right. Melissa, give me 5 examples for educational websites.
ඊතක්සලාව,
What else?
Schoolnet,
School.net, exam.
Ministry of Education,
Now that is Ministry of Education has multiple websites. I'm asking those websites. Itaksalawa, Nanasala, School.net, exam.lk, Vidumampeta, right? Those are the examples. Onaliagan, Itaksalawa, School.net, School.net, Vidumampeta. Right. මට කියන්න ශාවින්දි. What does the .org domain name means? What does it mean, .org?
Organization.
Organization, right. Organization, what is the special thing about the organization? Why not a commercial website?
It doesn't provide services.
Organization means free of charge. Non-commercial. Vanija no one. They don't sell anything there, right? Vanija they were current business activities in on .org, right? Then Manulya tell me, what is a web host? A web host, they provide us with a domain name, a name for our website, and also make our website accessible via internet. Our website internet hara accessible access wenna puluwankama denawa, right? They give us a name and also make our website accessible via the internet, right? All right, Manula, 3 examples for web host. Three examples for web host.
Zoom,
web host කියන්නේ කවුද? අපේ පුතේ වෙබ්සයිට් එක ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකට දාන්නේ කවුද? අන්න එයාලා තමයි වෙබ් හොස්ට්ලා කියන්නේ, right? Wordpress.org, Bluehost, HostGator, GoDaddy, HostPapa. Those are the web hosts. Zoom and any days can this මොකද්ද? TeamViewer. What are the examples for? Tisanga, what are the examples for? Any days TeamViewer?
Access.
Remote access. Very good. They are examples for remote access. Not web hosts. Web hosts are those who provide us with a domain name and make our website accessible via internet. අන්තර්ජාලය හරහා අපේ website එකට එන්න ඉඩ කඩ දෙන්නේ web host ලා. Right. Manulya, tell me, which protocol governs the HTML data transmission? Which protocol governs the HTML data transmission? Can't see you.
HTTP,
HTTP. Which protocol governs the IP address transmission? Exchange of IP addresses. TCP/IP. මන්ලයා බලාගෙන නැහැ. ඒක තමයි පුතේ මුලින් tube එක print out එකක් ගන්න ඕනේ. ඒක ලියන්න ඕනේ. Right? Then only you can study it. Okay? Then only you can remember it. Right? File sharing, Manulya?
FTP,
Email transmission,
SMTP,
error message services in internet,
ICMP,
ICMP. Very good. Right? Very good. Okay. So good. Right. Now again, Chamber, tell me 3 type of servers.
Web server,
Web server,
DNS server,
DNS server,
mail server, mail server.
The mail server, not Gmail. Shavindi, what does the DNS server do?
Translate URL to IP address.
Translate URL into IP addresses. Right. Very good. Melissa, what does the FTP do?
Responsible for file transfer.
Responsible for file transfer. Manulya, what does the remote access mean?
access and operating a computer in the internet.
Accessing and operating a computer in the internet remotely. Right? You have to use that word remotely. Okay. Right. Very good. Right. So with that, we're going to end the session for today. Thank you everyone for joining. Let the others know that the recording will be uploaded to the YouTube this time. you can get it from the YouTube. You can watch it in the YouTube, right? You also can watch it in the YouTube. I will upload it to the I'll give the link. I provide the link to the group, right? So again, have a nice day and bye bye. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, sir.
Good night.